Well, we all know the story of this rescue. Of course, we all followed the news. But Ron, I'm so curious about why you wanted to bring this story to the big screen in the form of a drama that really highlights the collaboration and the emotion that it required.
Well, the headlines do sort of, offer up a great movie story. And so that is the section that we more or less understand. But as soon as I read the screenplay, I realized there was so much more there. Even in the action side, even in the physical rescue itself, and some of those incredibly difficult decisions that were made. I thought there was great drama in that, great suspense, and that I could make a real movie out of the adventure side of it. Now, what I didn't know very much about was the human interest side and
Mm.
the volunteerism and the depth of that and the courage behind, those decisions. Nor did I know much about the spirituality that influenced the circumstance that the parents dedicated themselves to. It was sort of the only way they could help their kids was to
Yeah.
apply their spirituality in this way, because otherwise they really were like parents. It was like 18 days of their kids being, in an operating room, and
Mhm.
all they could do is be in the waiting room. And so that was an important element that I didn't know very much about, and but I felt it was emotional, and very, very beautiful and cinematic, and completely true. And I will add that even some of the Western divers who didn't, went into it, maybe a little bit cynical about the Thai spirituality and the blend of religion, which Raymond should maybe talk about a little bit. But several of them said to me that by the time it was over, they they had sensed the sort of the spiritual atmosphere and kind of the impact of that energy
Mhm.
on everybody, and possibly even the outcome.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, Raymond, I do want to hear more about that. This movie did such a beautiful job of really capturing through the religion and the culture kind of that surrounded this entire event. So, talk a little bit about bringing that to life and why it was so important to infuse it with those elements.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the north, because what they practice is actually not exactly Buddhism per se, because the rest of Thailand, is Buddhist. But in the north, they actually believe also in a form of animism, and that's why they believe that, the mountain itself is the Princess Nang Non, for example, and they believe in these legends and stories, and they believe in the spirits inside, like the mountains and the trees and everything else. And we wanted to make sure that we got that right. And in many ways, it came from the actual divers themselves, because they, like Ron just said, they felt it. And I think that it's something that, we wanted to make sure that people understood, because when they say when Rick in the film played by Viggo Mortensen said, "Oh, I can start seeing it now, the mountains, it looks like a sleeping princess." This is exactly what happened. Or, those bracelets, for example, that were blessed by this monk called the Kruba, who is extremely well respected, but he's actually not even Thai. He's from the Burmese border, and that's why he wears red rather than the usual, like Buddhist yellow. And he doesn't even shave his eyebrows, because Thai monks, we have to shave our eyebrows. There's just all these little details, and even the meditation done by the coach. It just shows that, that spirituality is not just, a certain belief, but it's an act that, people just perform, and it's very much rooted in the culture itself. And I think that, we did so much research, and the actors themselves, they went and, like, went into a James Tiradon, he went to the temple for like 3 4 days just to learn how to meditate properly. We all know how to meditate technically, we grew up in Thailand, but he wanted to be able to teach the kids how to do it as well. And this kind of dedication goes across the board, and I think that that's what's so magical about making this film, Ron.
And one of the little boys was a Christian who said, 13 of us.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
and had the most English to offer. And but that, by the way, it was really interesting because none of the kids were professional actors.
Yeah.
Oh, they're
Uh,
amazing.
and yet, through one of the other Thai producers, who was also has done some directing, he sort of engaged with those kids and really taught them how to understand the story, how to understand their characters, how to project themselves into this situation. And the kid that you're talking about, he turns out has a real knack for acting.
Yeah.
But he also is from the North, and he has the dialect
Right.
that Raymond was talking about. And he turned around and started helping James Tiradon, who plays the coach, who's from Bangkok. And so when I would ask them to improvise, the two of them would come together and work out not only the idea for the line of dialogue or the moment, but also the Northern dialect. Right. So it was a great creative process to engage in.
We did a lot of details. So yes, the character, his name is Arm, and we made sure that he's actually, even in our notes, he's Christian. So he's a little bit different from the others. So even though he's meditating with the others, we've always known, because his parents also had to be Christian. You don't notice the details, but there was a cross of one of the parents, but it's too hard to see. But we really, really made sure that level of accuracy when we're making the film, because it's based on the real kids. So.
Well, it was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. Thank you, guys.